Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if you can be both stressed out and excited about math at the same time? Well, this new study dives deep into that very question, especially for super smart science and engineering students. So basically, the big question here is this: if you are anxious about math, does that automatically mean you don't like it or aren't good at it? Most people assume if you are heading into a science, technology, engineering, or math career, you must absolutely love every single math problem you encounter. But what if that's not entirely true? What if you can feel stressed by math and still enjoy it or feel a connection to it? This study set out to find out. Researchers looked at a bunch of students, like thousands of them, at a top technical university. These aren't just average students, they're top performers in science and math fields. They wanted to see if these elite students, who are obviously good at math, still felt anxiety about it. And here's the key part: they also measured all sorts of positive feelings and experiences related to math. Things like enjoying math, feeling a sense of mastery, or even finding beauty in math. And guess what they found? It turns out that math anxiety and positive feelings about math are not always enemies. They found groups of students who felt a lot of math anxiety, but at the same time also had really positive experiences with math. This was especially true for students who were in programs that were super heavy on math, like pure math or physics. It's like they could be stressed about tests, but still find the subject fascinating. To get these amazing results, the researchers surveyed almost 4,600 students at this really famous university known for its tough science and math programs. They asked them a ton of questions about their feelings towards math, general anxiety, how they saw themselves, and how they experienced learning. They used fancy math tools like exploratory factor analysis and latent profile analysis to sort through all the answers and find patterns. Don't worry too much about the technical terms. Think of exploratory factor analysis like looking for hidden themes in tons of essays. Latent profile analysis is like finding natural groups of people based on their combined answers to many questions. One of the big findings was that, on average, these elite STEM students had less math anxiety than students in general. But there was still a lot of variation. Students in programs with less math, like biology, actually reported higher math anxiety than those in pure math programs. And first-year students tended to have more anxiety than older students. Maybe because they're still adjusting to the tough university level. The study used a technique called exploratory factor analysis to really nail down what makes up math anxiety and related feelings. They found 9 clear groups of experiences. Some were all about math anxiety itself, like feeling tense about math tests. Other factors were about positive math experiences, like the aha, moments when you suddenly understand a tricky problem, or even finding math beautiful. They also found factors related to general anxiety and how you feel about yourself, like your self-efficacy, or how confident you are in your abilities. What's really cool is how these factors related to each other. They found that math anxiety was indeed linked to lower confidence in math and thinking of yourself as less good at math. But it wasn't a perfect link. It was still possible to have math anxiety and also have a factor that represented math positivity, which included things like math interest, math motivation, and even experiencing flow, that feeling of being totally absorbed in a task. The connection between math anxiety and this math positivity factor was only moderate. This means they can exist together to some degree. Then came the latent profile analysis, which is where they really uncovered those surprising groups of students. They found a profile, for example, called high positive, high anxiety. These were students who scored high on positive math experiences and high on math anxiety. This profile was actually more common in the pure math students. Imagine being really into advanced calculus, finding it intellectually thrilling, but also feeling a knot in your stomach before a big exam. That's what this profile represents. They also found another group, low positive, high EMA, which sounds more like what we'd classically expect: high anxiety and low positive feelings about math. The big takeaway here, as the researchers state, is that math anxiety and positive engagement with math are not like opposite buttons. You can't be one or the other. You can have both at the same time. This challenges the idea that if you have math anxiety, you'll just avoid math. These students are choosing intense math programs, even with anxiety. It suggests that for these high-achieving students, anxiety might be a normal part of tackling difficult but rewarding material. So what does this mean for us, or for how we teach and support students? It means we need to be more nuanced. We can't just assume that because a student is anxious about math, they don't like it or aren't good at it. We need to look at the whole picture. For students who have both anxiety and positive feelings, the focus shouldn't just be on reducing anxiety, but also on nurturing those positive experiences. Maybe it is about helping them build resilience. Find that sweet spot between challenge and skill that leads to flow, or just acknowledging that it is okay to feel a bit stressed while still being deeply engaged. Now, like any study, this one has its limits. They use some single-item questions for things like flow or aesthetic experiences. While these give a quick snapshot, they might not capture the full complexity of these feelings as well as longer, more detailed surveys could. Also, they didn't measure actual math performance, so they can't say for sure if these different anxiety, positivity profiles lead to different grades. What's next? The researchers really want to see how these different profiles play out over time. Do students with both anxiety and positivity stick with their STEM path? Do they perform differently in the long run? And it would be great to see if these findings repeat in universities that aren't quite as elite. In a nutshell, this study is a fascinating look into the complex emotional lives of our brightest math minds. It shows us that anxiety doesn't have to be a deal breaker for enjoying and excelling in mathematics. It's a reminder that human emotions are rarely simple, and even in the rigorous world of STEM, there is room for both stress and genuine passion. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button. Leave a comment with your thoughts on math anxiety or your own experiences. And definitely subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more dives into the fascinating world of psychology. See you next time.